All right. Father God, we love you. Thank you for this awesome day. This is the day that you made. We rejoice and be glad in it. Thank you for Free Life Nation. Thank you for this leader. Take the kingdom to the next level. Thank you that we are not afraid or ashamed of the gospel. We represent wherever we go. We love you. We praise you. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. I just wanted to, you go ahead and record, Riri. Oh, okay, I see you record. My daughter's game was scheduled to be at 4:30, and they switched it at the last minute, and they're just getting ready to start right now. And so I refuse to be a pastor that put everything before his kids. I just can't do that. If I'm in town, then I just feel like that's my first church, that's my first obligation. So plus I ain't got but one daughter and I spoil her. But I did go over with Rihanna, and I went over with Miss Janice and some with Jimmy, some of the things that I wanted to go over tonight. I want us to solidify our dates. I want to talk about the COVID sanctions that they put on us, that we got to make sure those things are handled. And I want to talk about how we're moving forward. We got to be aggressive. The Lord told me to do this 20 times next year, and so we need to. I hope y'all can hear me. We need to start solidifying the date so we can start promoting them. Officially, the first date, January 9th, has been canceled because of COVID sanctions. There was a spike in Florida's numbers, so therefore. They required a lot of stuff, and they made all of their events, like they had the Martin Luther King parade and all that type of stuff. They made all of their events go virtually, and so we decided to push it back. We're looking at June, but we're gonna go kind of confirm that date. But we need to get ahead of the game when it comes to this COVID thing, because I feel like we still have an obligation to at least try and go for it. All right, the game is starting. So Riri, you can take it from here. I did share details with you and Miss Janice. If you can record this so I can look at it later. I apologize. We're gonna get this schedule straight, but they just changed it. And like I said, I've seen fathers neglect their kids, and I'm not gonna be that guy. And so I love y'all. But my baby out here. So, but there is an agenda. Riri has that agenda. Miss Janice has that agenda, and 4G has that agenda. Jimmy, and if we can start going over and make sure we're detailed about the everything, and get back with me. We need to solidify dates. We need to talk about this COVID thing. We need to talk about how involved we want the local artists to be, and do we want them to commit financially as we go from city to city and state to state, and a couple other things. So please record this call, and I'll be watching. I love y'all. I thank y'all. We are going to change the world. Praise God. We got a big year coming up. But look, man, if you are a parent, do not put anything before your family. Not even church. Not your career. Nothing. That is your first church. That is your first obligation. That is your first responsibility. And I wouldn't be a dad if my daughter, my kids have watched all my concerts, heard me preach, and did everything to support daddy. But when it comes to daddy supporting them, he's not there, or he's partially attentive, and so I can't do it. All right. So I gotta go. I love y'all so much. Let's keep pushing.
Amen. All right. Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight?
Hey, we doing all right. Doing good.
Good.
How you doing?
Good. Doing good.
Hanging in there.
Can't complain. That's right. So we're going to start with the scripture. Jeremiah 29:11. It says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." So this is what I ask to y'all. Are you working in your God-given purpose? Are you fulfilling the call that God has given for your life? And I just want to encourage each of you to identify your God-given purpose if you don't already know what it is and walk it out. I have to remind myself of this daily because I am guilty. I am guilty as guilty comes when it comes to trying to do what I want to do and not what God has called me to do, which leads me to my second verse of 2 Timothy 1:7. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. So if we choose not to walk in fear and go according to the purpose that God has given us, he will see us through. But, day-to-day life sometimes gives us cloudy vision, and we have to put on our blinders and refocus to trust and believe, what God has told us to do and lean on him for that understanding to see us through. So that's what I have tonight for the scripture. Hopefully that resonates on someone's heart, that you can apply to your life and use it. And we're going to go ahead and go forth with the agenda for tonight. The first thing on the agenda is solidify dates. If you're not on mute, please put yourself on mute. I hear some background noise. We want to solidify date. Sorry, that's my son. You hear stomping in the background. We want to go ahead and solidify our dates. If you've already submitted your date for your city, it is on the calendar. At the end of this call, I'm going to post that band link again for everyone to join. That's how I stay in communication with everybody. And I also use that calendar. I'll update that calendar for those that have already submitted their dates, so everyone can see the upcoming dates for each city. So if you haven't submitted your date, please submit your date for your city so we can get it on the calendar. Again, if you've already submitted your date, we have it and it is on the calendar. Along with your date, we want to talk about budgets. If you do not have your budget, we want you to go ahead and put your budget together. How much is it going to cost for your event? Are we selling tickets? Do your artists or your talent, is there a fee? What is that fee? Everyone involved, we just need a budget for every area of your event. So if you could go ahead and put that budget together. How much is the location? What does that location need? Is there a fee for that? Have that submitted as well. Also with the event, Ms. Janice, if you could, we'll talk about COVID, your talking points for COVID and our plan for that. I can't hear you. Let's see.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you now.
Okay. All right. Good evening, everyone. Blessings. Regarding the COVID-19 and the events, what originally we were going to do in Deerfield was we had a nonprofit organization that was willing to come in to do temperature checks, pass out COVID-19 information, and also to pass out masks and hand sanitizers. Being that the event is not being held now and it's postponed and we're going to reschedule the date, we have since decided to continue to keep that organization on, and they're going to do COVID testing instead. So as I spoke with Pastor and mentioned to Miss Rihanna as well, if you have a nonprofit organization that's within your city, your county, and they do healthcare, you should be able to reach out to them and ask them about participating in your event. If someone is a little leery about reaching out to them or don't know how or not comfortable with it, I offered that I will be an arm. My past work history was community outreach coordinator. So I could help you, assist you with reaching out to them to see if they'll be willing to come out and help us, to give us more information on the COVID-19. And also, we have to make sure that we need to set a date for every city that has solidified your date for your event, that we present and submit it into Ms. Rihanna, the COVID-19 guidelines, what their regulations are for your city, for your county, and for your state, so that we'll be in compliance. And if we can have everyone within 2 weeks, if each city could reach out to your commission to find out what your regulations are for an event, an outdoor event, or wherever it's going to be held at, what are their stipulations and what are their requirements, so that we will have it and we'll know where to begin to work. And if they are interested in coming out and being a vendor, to sponsor doing temperature checks, to pass out masks if people don't have the mask, to have sanitizers there, that's a cost that we won't have to worry about incurring if we can have them to participate and be a sponsor. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions or concerns when it comes to COVID and how to plan around COVID?
No one?
Nobody? That's good. That's good. That's really good. So
Thank you.
2 weeks from now.
Thank you, Jay. Yes.
If you could have your plan submitted, I'm going to upload all of this information onto the band app so you can reference it, everything that you need, and also put that on the calendar as well. 4G, did you have anything to add to this, sir?
I had an in-depth conversation earlier today with Pastor Friday. He's prior military for like 20 years, and one of the things he's very accustomed to doing is just planning things way ahead of time, to the point where when he was relaying it to me, it came out grueling. But with that being said, it's a lot of things that he pointed out to me that I never did actually consider. Like one of the things he mentioned, for instance, I know the young lady just mentioned, having hand sanitizers and passing out masks. But one of the things he brought to my attention today also was, are we going to have medical staff on hand in case, some a medical emergency took place, like medical personnel, nurses, EMTs. Obviously, I think we had already talked about the possibility of having to purchase liability insurance, for certain events. A policy in the amount of like $1 million is typically sometimes required for large crowds. Of course, security. Are we going to have our own security in place? Are we going to be able to reach out to the local law enforcement in those particular cities to see about obtaining those services? And of course, the list kind of goes on and on. But with that being said, he sent me over some bullet points to just kind of focus on, in addition to what I had already been working on my end. I'll be sharing that in the next day or so once I polish it up a little bit, just for you all to reference as well. But that's pretty much it for right now.
Okay, thank you, sir. And definitely send that list to me so I can post it for each of our teams to have, so they can consider those key points and elements when planning. Miss Janice, you trying to say something?
Yeah, I was trying to unmute myself. I'm sorry. I wanted to say something to Brother 4G. What we were going to also do within the city of Deerfield Beach, you can always, if the gentleman hasn't already given you the information, what we usually do is we can also get in touch with our local district city commissioner for your district. And as long as you've gotten your permit or just speak with them, you can go before your city commission and get in touch with your community resource officer for that city, and also the captain for the fire department in your particular city as well. And usually the city will allow you, and they will forgive that debt that you would need for the police and everything. So they'll waive those fees. So if he hasn't let you know that already.
Thank
So
you.
all they do is bring
Last,
it, they just bring it before the commission and ask for the fees to be waived. And usually 9 times out of 10, they do.
one last thing I forgot to mention to us. This is just something that he suggested. I don't think it's a bad idea, but he also suggested that Canton or an appropriate personnel write a letter to the actual city, or maybe some of the local churches down there, whatever venue we're trying to utilize, that Canton write a letter on, obviously, Free Life letterhead, just basically asking for, obviously, their permission, and just giving a detailed overview of what his intent is to do in these particular cities, along with a full dialogue laid out plan for those particular dates.
Okay, that's not a problem. Which city, 4G?
Panama City. Of course, you know, we're looking at the Pensacola area and Tallahassee area as well on that same run. Right now, we're basically trying to make sure all those, make sure we secure venues for the cities and so forth. But part of actually being able to secure these venues is what he pretty much suggested is we don't leave any loopholes, and make sure that we are able to answer any questions or concerns that we have in advance, to make sure we don't have any backlash.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Ms. Janice, did you have anything else?
No, I totally agree with him about the letter of ask. I think that's I think it's necessary. And like in Deerfield, our venue would have been free. And it still will be. We're hosting it at one of the local churches, and they're just giving us the ground, and we just have to we're going to go before them also to ask. I'm going to speak with Kiera and let her know that we can go, our city commissioner can present it to our commission board, so that we're able to possibly get the stage free. Don't worry about the security of the police or the firefighters to come in and have their fees waived as well. But just like you said, to dot all your I's and cross all your T's and make sure everything is up to par, far enough in advance. So I'm not sure what your date is, but probably, it's never too early to do the letter of ask, so that we can get it and just see whoever the local commissioner is for those particular cities that you're hosting and that you're surrounded by.
4G, is your date still April 3rd?
Yes, ma'am.
And you need a venue for that date? That's what you're saying? You still need a venue?
Yeah, I actually spoke to the city mayor and myself, and of course, you know, she actually works pretty close with Pastor Friday already, and I think what he's pretty much trying to do is make sure that, you know, we're set up to be successful, but with her being an African American mayor in a predominantly white city for the most part, she's already having to deal with a lot of red tape herself. So we just kind of trying to proceed with caution to make sure we cover everything, to make sure we don't put her in any compromising positions because of not properly planning ahead.
Right.
Okay, I just want to be clear. For April 3rd, what do you need?
Well, right now, I am in the process of finalizing the sponsorship packets and things along those lines there. I'm gonna do like a detailed overview of the event itself. When it comes time to actually send out this letter, I'm going to attach all the necessary visual presentations with that letter. But I just think that, based on the conversation I had earlier, that a detailed letter indicating his vision, you know, a proper introduction of who he is, what his vision is for each individual city, you know, obviously cater the letter to each individual city, an overall view of the event, the times and so forth, and all the personnel, resources, everything we would deploy ahead of time. So they'll have a clear understanding that we got everything pretty much covered. The only thing we really need is you all to give us the venue. We'll take care of everything else on our end for the most part, outside of, you know, perhaps, like I said, local law enforcement and maybe like local fire department, things along those lines there. But everything else we should be able to take care of for the resources that Free Life got.
Okay. Is there anyone that was planning to do an event in March? No? Okay, so Kiosha, you would be the next event on the 17th. Can we talk a little bit about your event and what you need? Do you have any questions?
Okay, so we're still in the, the planning phase, of course. We're trying to pin down a location. We got a couple of ideas, but they are not solidified at this point. We have not gotten the guidelines for our city yet, so that's something that we will definitely be doing before our next meeting, or while when we have our next meeting. We'll try to get that information so that we can have that for you all. We still trying to put together our budget, but we do have an idea for the event that we want to have. We've kind of come together just for the basic things like vendors and vendor fees and what else? I'm looking at my notes, I'm sorry. We want to do like a car show type of event. So it's going to be a car show mixed with the Free Life experience. So we just want to figure out where we can have this event that's going to be big enough to host a space for everyone, to have the cars around as well as us. And we do have, like I said, a couple of ideas that just haven't been solidified just yet. I did have a question that I wanted to run by you. In the very beginning, I feel like I remember Pastor saying he wanted us to have 2 dates per city. Is that still, or? Okay.
Yep, that's still the case. So how that works is you're planning your first date, and when that date comes and happens, you'll advertise the next date. So you can retain those that came to the first event. So yeah, definitely have the second date pretty much planned and solidified too, because you're going to be promoting it at the first event.
So we have our second date as well. Can we get you to write that down so that we can kind of lock that date in?
Absolutely.
So we want to do June 19th, 2021. So for Juneteenth.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the other date.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the other date that we would like. So basically we just still getting all the details together. It's not solidified at this point. Once we get a place, I think we can get more things together. So. Tina, do you have any additions? I know Tina Betts is one of the people on the Free Life Alabama, Free Life Tuskegee team. I don't know if maybe she had any thing that I might be missing or forgetting about.
No, I think you said everything. We talked about entertainment for that day and how many acts or how many performances we wanted to have. And I think that's it. I think you said everything.
Okay. So yeah, that's where we are, Riri. So I guess if you can give anybody, I know the Florida event already been solidified and we didn't know all the, we don't know all the ins and outs of how you guys set it up, but it would be good to kind of bounce off of what you guys did, set it up as well. And we have been implementing some of the ideas into our meeting that you guys talked about, the social distancing and the hand sanitizer and mask and temperature checks and all of that. So we did talk about that, but that still has to be solidified as well.
Ms. Janice, do you have a detailed rundown of the Deerfield event?
Well, what we did was we had there, other than the local artists that Kiara had and Pastor had solidified, we reached out to the local churches and different people in the community and our neighboring cities on my end that we had asked that were going to be local artists. We also, like I said, we're going to make contact with the city so that we could have some of those fees waived for the things that we needed. We had someone already scheduled for the temperature check and the sanitizers and the masks. The church gave us the venue that was free. We didn't have to worry about that. The vendors, we had not originally talked about a price for the vendors. So now that we know that funding is needed, that's something we'll start asking about is prices that's set for vendors, for food and non-food vendors to raise money. So those, at least if we get a deposit for those people, you'll know what monies and what funds you're running on. So that was, pretty much it. And as far as the tents and what have you in the stage, we were going to ask the fees to be waived for our stage and sound from the city as well.
Thank you, because we'll definitely be using those ideas as well. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're most welcome.
And then also too, from speaking on fundraisers and from an income standpoint, artists, any artists that you may have, that's, there could be a fee there as well that you could put towards your event. That's something to think about.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The other guy who has spoken, me coming out of Michigan, just to catch up, I will need a letter from Canton to explain everything. Maybe after I'm done having a group talk, I can send you the information of the name of the pastor, the worship leader, because in Grand Rapids there is an urban hip hop church, and that church will fit Canton perfect. I think a good letter explaining everything will be a very good help. I believe they'll stand right behind them. Then that way I have the support. So I can send you that info, after this meeting, if that's all right.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. Yep. I'm gonna make sure I give you their names and church address, and then leave you with my name so that keeps me in the circle, so everything goes smoothly, because we talked not too long ago. So the last thing I don't need is for him to come up here and a lot of mistakes and surprises come, and I don't want that falling on me.
Right. Now at this church, would it be an outside event?
I truly believe it'll be inside, because the name of the church is called the Edge Church. They're a hip hop church, so they usually do a lot of their inside events. But we'll see what the pastor and the worship leader, we'll see what they'll see about it, because I need to let them know about what's going on. So one of the things that will help me on my behalf, if Canton can write a letter explain his vision, and we can set an official date, because I'm hearing everybody having their official dates. I'm thinking just that I want to say July, but I have to make sure they get everything approved. So so we all be on one accord.
Okay, sounds good. I can get you the information. Tiffany,
Thank you.
You're welcome. Were you trying to say something? No. Does anybody else have any questions?
Mr. Collins, did you just remember? Are they having church inside or outside in Grand Rapids?
Right now.
And how large is the church?
Okay, right now at the moment, this church is just having, I want to say, online service only, because a few of the people, last I talked to the worship leader, Last, a few people tested positive, so they had stuff online. I don't know the exact number, but I know the church is big enough. One thing I'm gonna have to do on my part, and I have the worship leader's number, I gotta find out how many people can fit in that sanctuary. So I'm writing this down. I'm writing this down right now. Find out how many people can fit in that sanctuary. So just to get an idea.
Yeah, because with the CDC guidelines, even though their capacity, they may have to be at half full or 1/3 full. Depends on So that might be one of your first things you might want to try to do. Is like you said, get to your city. So in 2 weeks, to make sure that you get what the requirements are for the city. So find your local, if you're not familiar with their local district commissioner, and get with them to get the CDC guidelines, or a local health department, and get it from them, and get the guidelines from them, and see what your city is requiring. Because it may be an indoor church large enough to hold 1,000 people, but the capacity might not be, but 200 or 300 depends on the build of it, the structure of it. And if the CDC guidelines won't allow us to have it inside, then are we able to have the venue outside? And if so, do we have to remain in the cars? Can they get out the cars? Is there a gathering? How many can gather? So all of that comes into play. So you might want to start, plugging at that a little bit, even while you're waiting on the letter to tap in. Like I said, in 2 weeks, everybody should have that information. But you might want to start kind of, looking at that for, when you look at your venue. So everybody, just when you're looking at your venues, you need to still pay attention. You got to, pay attention to that first. Okay,
then I got that. I got that written down. So CDC guidelines for the health, from the health department. So
your city, county, and your state regulations.
Okay, city, county. Yep, city, county, and state regulations.
Yes, and so what are their capacity, and what the church capacity with the pandemic? What are they asking?
Okay, I got my homework to do. I will in 2 weeks. I will have this all.
Okay. And you might want to look at also if they have the grounds big enough, that people can stay in their cars. If not, maybe want to ride around, get an eye out for another place that has outside ground or big enough parking lot.
Yes, there is.
Somewhere for a second place, just in case.
There is a second place. They used it before, and it's a lot bigger. But I would have to get with the pastor and the worship leader. They would know more about that. So once I get them connected, basically let them know I've been talking to you guys, so they at least get an idea of what's expected for the new year. So I'll make sure I get them in the loop.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
That's good. You're welcome. Thank you.
You bet.
Also, too, when planning your budgets, I want you all to keep in mind the standard for the event. Stage, LED lights, a screen, sound, someone to run it. So you need someone to operate your sound, someone to operate your lights, a host, someone to keep up the energy at the event. So think about all these things when you're planning the event, so you can have an accurate budget to bring to the table. Are there any questions about that? And if you want to see what it looks like, you can always, I'll post some things to the band site, but you can always look up Canton Jones or FreeLifeChurch, and you can see the type of experiences that we have and some things that you can implement in your own event. If there are no questions, Ms. Janice, did you have anything else that you want to add? We could do closing remarks if no one has questions. I see some new people on here. Hey, Miss Kimberly, how you doing? You want to introduce yourself? Tell us where you're from.
I'm sorry, I had to find the unmute button. Hi, Hi, everybody. How y'all doing?
Good. Hi.
I'm Kimberly Cox. I'm from Pensacola, Florida. Very excited about helping you all get a very great experience in our city. I have a nonprofit that I'm over called My Brothers and Sisters. So everything that you said about nonprofit work, you are always on point. The only thing I would add to some of y'all who have not done events in your city council, your sheriff department, your police department, big companies, especially those who have, like if you're in Alabama, your Hyundai dealership, all the big companies you have in your city, go after them for sponsorship dollars. Whether it's money, in-kind donation, whatever it may be, go after them. When you put that you're doing something for you and the better community, you're gonna see them run you down, try to make sure you take that money from them. And most police departments / sheriff departments have, well, I'm gonna back up and tell you the whole story behind it. When they stop people and they are doing illegal things and they have money on them and they go to jail, that money goes in a pot called a trust fund. And that trust fund is strictly to go back into the community to stop drugs, crime, and prevent it. You can always ask for that money if you're in a city to do an event, but it gotta be tailored around drugs, crime, and prevention. So like I said, I'm happy to be a part so I can give y'all as much as I can for our city and be, help push here.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Ms. Kimberly. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Also, another thing that I want to do for those that are not planning for a specific city, I'm going to post and ban for everyone to introduce themselves and what you do, so another city may be able to use your resources. So you can just tell what you do, or what area you would like to help out in, so we can all keep that in mind and apply you to the other cities. That's all I have, ladies and gentlemen. Ms. Janice, you can do closing remarks and close us out if you like.
Okay. Well, I just want to say we just need to, begin to hit the ground running. And like Mrs. Cox said, we need to definitely reach out, as I keep saying, reach out to our city and our, county representatives. And a lot of our state representatives are right here from our local area as well. So, we can piggyback on those. And just remember that we are all leaders and we are responsible and we have to have accountability. And to that's it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have for tonight. I look forward to seeing your budgets and plans.
You went mute.
Went on mute.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just talking away. I thought shit, I hit that button.
You're back mute again.
Trying to say my son screaming in the background. Sorry about that. But yes, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for attending the call. I look forward to hearing from each and every one of you for your budgets and your proposals. I will get the letter together for those that need it to pitch to your community leaders so they'll know what Free Life Experience is all about. If you have any questions before our next meeting, you know how to reach me. You all have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Thank you. Real quick, Tanisha in Tampa, just really getting on because my work schedule changed. Can I get all that information too? Like all the past information, or do I just need to reach out to Kiera? And because I think she was telling me before that she was, I don't know if she was keeping the information or notes, or I'm not sure.
The information for Free Life Experience, and
as far as like any of the past meetings.
Say that last part again.
Any of the past meetings, Zoom meetings.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So okay. Let me post this link for y'all. If you haven't joined the band app, go ahead and do so, and I'll have everything there. It'll be under construction for the next few days, but all the meetings that we've ever had, any forms that you may need, you can find all of that there.
Okay.
I'm going to
Thank you.
post that really quickly. The meeting is adjourned. If you need that link, please hang on until I post it, so you all can join. But if you already have it and have done it, you are free to leave. And I look forward to seeing you all next week.
All right.
Pleasure.
Mhm.
Okay, I posted it for those that need it. It is there.
Okay.